Hi boys and girls, hi friends, I'm Mrs. Risser. It's time for reading and balloon fun with Mrs. Risser. I'm glad to see you again. Are you ready for thinking and asking questions again? Because I love questions. Who is ready for some questions? Who the owl? She loves to ask lots of questions, and remember she was helping us to work on comprehension. And when we ask questions, it helps us understand our story. And so that's an important part of reading comprehension. Um, do you see some other things here? Did you notice the basket? Are you thinking that we might have our special guest again? Well, you know what? Elsa is here today again. I'm still babysitting Elsa for Chelsea and Phil. Hey, Chelsea and Phil. And so I thought Elsa could come and help us with reading today again. This would be a good day for Elsa to come and help us. Anything else? Did you notice my hat? I'm wearing this hat because I wanted to have the red and blue for Chargers, because I miss my West Noble primary friends. So go little Chargers. Anything else that you're noticing? Oh yeah, we talked about who, but back here, hey Jabber. Jabber helps us remember to retell our story, and that helps us with comprehension too. So thanks Jabber for helping to remind us to retell. Anything else? Oh, do you see over here? Remember our bunny ears? Last time we were working on some reading strategies, and we were using our ears to help us listen to our reading, so that, did that sound right? Did that make sense? And if it didn't sound right or make sense, stop, because it means that we made a mistake and we need to go back and reread and fix it. If I move this way a little bit, do you see back here? I have our magic wand. That one was reminding us to use our eyes too for a reading strategy, so that we're watching for, does that look right? And if it doesn't look right, we need to stop and we need to go back and reread and fix it, because we don't want to say the wrong word, so we were using our eyes and our ears to help us check our reading. That's a good strategy. Anything else that you see that you are noticing? I do have a lot of books over here, and I keep reading and reading, and I hope you are too. I still haven't read all the books in my house, but I keep working at it, because good readers read a lot, not just a little bit. You're right, boys and girls. I have right here, I'm going to read one of Nick's books today that he wrote when he was little, because this one will be really fun for me. I showed you it earlier. This one is Tia and the Dark Bunny. And so this one is going to make me laugh today, and I like to laugh when I'm, because laughing is good for us, and this is a great time to just have fun and laugh, which is another reason why I made this hat today. Anything else? Did you notice something new back here, girls and boys? I have a traffic light. That is going to help us today in talking about reading too. So we're going to use our traffic light in just a little bit. Now, I think I answered most of your questions for right now. And so I want to get out our special friend and get Elsa out. And I'm going to just move this over, because I thought maybe I could try putting Elsa right up on top of here so that you can see her better. Now, Elsa actually doesn't like this, because Elsa is so shy, remember? And turtles like to be left alone. And so I'm doing this special for you girls and boys, so that you can see Elsa a little bit, because it's really neat to see turtles. But I really don't think she makes the best pet for boys and girls if you want a pet that you can hug. If you want one just to leave alone and watch sometimes, she would be an okay pet, but not to pet and not to hug like dogs and cats. So I'm enjoying watching Elsa. I'm going to be very careful that she doesn't fall off, because I'm trying to be a very good babysitter here. So at least for right now, Elsa is going to just sit there and think about things and look. So she's doing okay. I picked, oh, I almost forgot. Somebody was asking me a question about Elsa after after our last time when you first met her, I never told you what kind of a turtle, or not turtle, tortoise. Remember our word tortoise? Elsa is a tortoise and I keep confusing them, but I didn't tell you what kind of a tortoise Elsa is. She is a Russian box tortoise. And it's very important to know what kind of a turtle or tortoise you have, because they're all a little bit different and they eat different food. And so it's important to be able to know what kind of food Elsa likes. Otherwise, she'll get sick and she'll die if I don't take care of her right. Oh, I see her moving a little bit. I think Elsa is beautiful, and so I'm glad to have her out again today. I picked a poem special for Elsa, and this, I'm going to read one from this poetry book. It's called If Pigs Could Fly and Other Deep Thoughts. So it says a collection of funny poems by Bruce Lansky, and I like funny poems, and so that's why I was picking this one too. And these are illustrated by Stephen Carpenter. So Elsa, I picked a poem for you today. This poem is called My New Pet. It says, I asked my father for a pet. He said, I'll take you shopping. My father took me to a store where animals were hopping. He asked me, which one would you like? So I picked out a puppy, a parakeet, a rabbit, plus a gerbil and a guppy. I also picked a monkey and a yellow Siamese cat, a turtle, a snake and lizard, plus a very big white rat. My dad said, if you want a pet, then you will have to feed it. Instead, I picked a storybook. I cannot wait to read it. Sometimes we like to have pets, and sometimes moms and dads say, no, you can't have a pet, or maybe you have one pet and you wanted more. Well, the poem is saying that you also could read a book about pets, and then it kind of feels like we have a pet sometimes too. So that's another way to experience pets. When I was a kid, I used to read this book called Little Rascal. And Little Rascal is about a little boy who found a baby raccoon, and the mom had died. And so he took Little Rascal in as a pet. Raccoons are not really a very good pet, but I sure had fun reading about Little Rascal and all the trouble that Little Rascal would get into. And it made me feel like I had a pet raccoon. And so that's another way to have pets too. Now, so that I don't have to worry about Elsa and what she does, I'm going to put her inside my little basket again. And she might not like that, but I'm going to move her over just a little bit here. But I want her so that you girls and boys can see her too. So maybe right there for now. And Elsa, thank you for being so nice to us. Now, girls and boys, I want to talk a little bit about our traffic light back here. Now, do you know what it means when there is a red light? What does a red light mean? When they have red, what do you think that means? Stop. Just like our stop sign, it says stop. Well, when you see a red light, stop. You have to stop. And we talked about this in our reading, that when you hear something that doesn't sound right, or it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't look right, then you need to stop in your reading, because it means you made a mistake and you need to go back and fix it and reread. So that way you're figuring out what this really says, because it really helps with our comprehension to know what the real words are. So sometimes in our reading we have to stop. Other times in our reading we also might need to use the yellow light. Do you know what a yellow light means? If you see yellow, it means like this. Do you see on this little sign? Look at that, it has a turtle. It looks just like Elsa. So Elsa is going to help us think today about when we need to, and it says, slow down. When is it in our reading that we should slow down? We're going to talk about that today. But before we talk about slowing down, we are going to talk first just a tiny bit about this other light. There's a green light here. What does green mean? Go. When do we need to go in our reading? Why would we say go in our reading? Well, that's when reading is easy and you're doing just fine and it sounds right and it looks right and it makes sense and it just feels easy, and so you just go in your reading and you read so that you have phrasing and expression and you feel like, oh, I can read this. That is an awesome thing. We want you to be able to read and just go in your reading. Reading shouldn't always be a struggle. It should be easy a lot of the time. And so keep going and going when it's easy. When you're reading and you're going and going, but then all of a sudden you come to some big word and you think, oh no, I don't know what this word is. Instead of thinking, oh no, we just want you to slow down a little bit. Now I have this sign too with Elsa on it, but I'm going to use this one more because you can really see it says slow down. So when we come to something tricky today, we're going to use some reading strategies and talk about reading strategies of what you can do when you slow down. Now first, we need to make something that is going to help us with our reading strategy to slow down. So I have a balloon to make here. I'm going to make it pretty big and let out a little bit of air. This is almost the whole way, but I left a little bit on the end. And I'm going to take it just like I did before and go find the middle, but then go over a tiny little bit and twist it and make a bubble and twist that bubble really good. And then I am going to twist another bubble right beside it and go like this. And now this is going to be a lot like what I did the other day, and make it go together and cross just like this. Can you tell what I'm making already? It looks a lot like what I made before. In fact, it's almost the same. I'm making another fish today. This fish is going to help us with our reading. And let's put some uh-oh, I don't have my marker right here. Let me get my marker, girls and boys. I forgot to have it ready, but here's my marker because it would be nice to have some eyes on our fish so that he's looking at us. There we go, girls and boys. Here is my fish. And this fish, do you notice anything different or funny about this fish? Do you see these great big lips here? So you can make your lips big like that. This is our fishy lips. Your teachers probably talked to you about this, that when in our reading, we can use our fishy lips as a strategy to figure out a tricky word. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about fishy lips so that you get your lips ready for the first part of a word. When you're reading and you come to something tricky and it's a pretty big word that you think, oh wow, that's really big, slow down and get your fishy lips ready. So try not just one letter, because remember how when we were reading this word tortoise and we weren't sure, does this say turtle or does it say tortoise, and they both start with a T? Well, in first grade, a lot of words, we need to look past just that first letter now. And so what we want you to do is get about 2 or maybe 3 letters and stretch into that first part and say t, or, tor, and then you probably are going to know what it is. I can tell just from 3 letters that this does not say turtle because it has an or part right here. So if I get 3 letters, I could say tortoise just from that first part. So boys and girls, part of the trick of that is when you get that first part, go back and reread so that you have meaning to help you figure out what that tricky word is. Okay, we're going to practice this just a tiny bit so that you understand what I mean. I went, oh, I have something in my throat. Sorry. I was reading about Elsa, and I was trying to find out what are the things that Elsa likes to eat, because I need to find special food just for Elsa. Otherwise, she'd get sick and things. So, so I found where it said, and this was my sentence, and then I had to do some really good reading work with this. It said, Russian box tortoises like to eat dark green, and then it had this great big word. And so what I'm going to do is stretch into the first part, and we're going to go let, and then I'm going to go back and reread just to help remind me what it is I'm going to be thinking about here. Russian box tortoises like to eat dark green, let, and then I'm thinking about what's something that tortoises would want to eat that's dark and green. Lettuce. Often by rereading and just getting that first part and stretching into it, and then maybe stretching even a little bit more, all of a sudden it makes sense what this word is. That's getting your fishy lips ready for the first part. Go back and reread and then stretch into it a little bit more. That way you're using meaning and stretching into the word. That's a very good reading strategy, girls and boys, to when you come to something tricky and you need to slow down a little bit. Now there's another reading strategy that we want to talk about today too. And this one, uh-oh, that one's, I had a balloon, but it wasn't very open. So we're going to try this one. We need another friend to help us talk about another reading strategy. Let's go about this long. I let just a little bit of air out. In fact, this one is going to take 2 bubbles, and it is an animal again. So what do you think I might make? And it's going to be one of our reading strategies. And I'm going to go like this, and this part is a big mouth right here, okay? And now I'm going to put a little bubble here just to hold it. A little bit more. See if I can get that. Oh, it's being stubborn. There we go. Now I got it. Okay, now I have part of it, but I need another balloon and make this one a very little one. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. Are you figuring out and guessing what this is? It's long, isn't it? It's not a worm. Are you thinking it's a snake? It is going to be a snake, girls and boys. Do you know what reading strategy has the snake? I bet you're thinking about it. I'm going to take this and attach it right up at the top, girls and boys. There, you can't see there. I'm going to make this go around and push this in through right here. And then, look at that. Now we need some eyes again. It's good I have my marker now, because if I go like this, I can put some eyes right up here and give it some eyebrows. And up, I don't make my eye very good, but that's okay, girls and boys. And then should we give him some fangs right here too? Because snakes sometimes have some fangs like that. And now, our stretchy snake, I'm going to stretch him on my arm like this. Uh-oh, I don't think Elsa likes my balloons. Okay, and as I do this, I have to push on my balloon so that it will wrap around and around, and I'm stretching him really good so that my stretchy snake goes like this. Okay? So, as a reading strategy, we're going to use stretchy snakes sometimes. And that means that we're going to stretch into words. They're little, but we're going to like slide through them and stretch through those sounds. Sometimes when words are just a little bit big, then we can just stretch into them and we don't have to just do the first part. So this would be a good word that we could use, stretchy snake, and stretch and slide right into it and go Swiss. Hey, we could just slide right through that whole word. Swiss. And then here's the other part. Chard. Chard. Swiss chard. Sorry, you can't see that very good, but my word is Swiss chard. Sometimes we don't have to only do the first part. We can just slide right through the whole word. Now, you might not know what Swiss chard is, but I do because my mom likes Swiss chard. So if you read something and you think, well, I don't know what that is, you might ask a question. Ask mom or dad, what is that? Because you want to know what that is too. That's comprehension and understanding. Here's another one that we can just slide right through it. Radish. 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 Hey, I see a word I know. Greens. If you know that part or you know that word, you don't have to slide it. You can just say it. Greens. Radish greens. Elsa, you like Swiss chard and radish greens. Those are good things. And you know what? Since I read that she likes radish greens, I bought some at the store just for Elsa because I was trying to be nice to her. I want her to be happy. So today, don't forget, when you're reading, use your reading strategies when you need to slow down and you come to a tricky word. Don't just say, Mom, I don't know what this word is. You already know. Use your strategies so that you can figure it out yourself. Use your fishy lips if it's a great big word and get the first 2 or 3 or 4 letters. Go back and reread and try it again. And then magically, a lot of the time, we know what it is. If you don't yet, try it again and reread it again. Keep trying, lion. Another one would be stretchy snake. Stretch right into it if it's not too big, or maybe you've gotten really good that you can just stretch right into them. It just depends. Try different things in your reading. One other thing that I noticed too, and I was thinking about, is that sometimes when we have a word and we stretch right into it like this one, here, stretchy snake, help me out. Squash. Squash. It goes with that sentence that Russian tortoises like to eat squash. Well, that doesn't quite sound right, does it? So sometimes it is okay to say it wrong because now I can think, what could that be that's going to sound kind of like squash? And I know that Russian, it's something that you eat, and then it's Russian tortoises like to eat this. What do we eat that sounds like the word squash? Anybody think of what that word could be? Oh, I know what it is now. Squash. So sometimes, girls and boys, just saying it wrong is okay too because it might help you think of what the real word is. So just try it. Don't give up. Try it and try it again. Girls and boys, thank you so much. I have one more balloon animal that I wanted to do for you to end with. We've been talking a lot. Oh, there's my bad green one again, but I have an extra green yet too. I have 2 balloons for this. I hope you're keeping on reading at home and practicing, just like I'm practicing balloons and I'm practicing reading. And so, what do you think I could make? Green is a good color, but I still need one other balloon. Let me get one other one here too. This one's going to have 2 balloons again. And this one we're going to go pretty long. Green is a great color. Purple is a pretty good color too. Alright, here it is. Let me just think about sizes here. I'm going to go like this and pull this around and make one loop. And then I'm going to make another loop and twist it and make another loop and twist it and make another loop and twist it. Is it looking like anything yet? And make another loop and twist it. And look, now I've got part of my balloon ready. Is that looking like a flower? So what do you think I'm going to do with this part? I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to go like this. And can you tell? This is going to be the stem. So if I push this part up and then pull this through right here, now, girls and boys, I have a flower. This flower reminds me how it's springtime and there's beautiful flowers out and they're blooming and growing and blossoming. And this reminds me of our reading. The more that you read and use your strategies and think about your reading and keep reading and reading, your reading grows and blooms too, and like a beautiful flower. And so you will just keep getting better and better. And it is so fun to see your reading grow and grow. So keep reading, boys and girls, and keep blooming in your reading so that it sounds beautiful. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.